Our population's growing. Why? Because of the energy and daring of entrepreneurs that are growing and dominating in the industries of the future. To those with that California derangement syndrome, I'll repeat, it's time to update your talking points.
Gavin Newsom says his state is thriving, but the people with the most skin in the game are heading for the exit. New reporting shows that at least half a dozen billionaires have already left the Golden State. Up to 20 more could be packing their bags as a proposed 5% wealth tax remains on the table. The latest, Google co-founder Larry Page is headed to Miami, Florida. But he's not alone. Peter Thiel, Larry Ellison on the move to red states like Texas and Florida.
Many of these people that are leaving are...
Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me these liberals, these people that vote Democrat, they're now evacuating to red states? As long as they understand that they cannot California my Texas, don't California my Florida. The problem is with these liberals when they relocate is that they bring their staff and their families with them. And these people might start to vote in the opposite direction, and they'll start voting in favor of the policies that they're fleeing from. Just like you see people that come from these communist countries come to the United States and they want to turn the United States into the country that they had to evacuate. We can't allow them to do that. We got to be careful letting these liberal voting, Democrat supporting billionaires come to our states and try to influence our elections. If they're leaving California, it's for a reason, but this is quick. Imagine being based in California and fighting this whole entire time to stay in that state. I'm talking about through the lockdown that lasted 3 years, vaccine passports, crime, lawlessness, where the police won't arrest you if the crime's under $1,000, a defunded police where they won't do investigations about certain crimes anymore. You survived all of that. But the straw that broke the camel's back was when they wanted a 5% wealth tax. Do you know how much money that is? And you're just supposed to fork it over to the state? A state that is already riddled with fraud and complete mismanagement of fund. We don't even know where that $20 billion for homelessness went, because now there are more homelessness and there are less places available. So where did the money go? Where's the money for the light rail? Where's anything? Our electrical infrastructure is collapsing. Silicon Valley is not going to be able to survive, especially not a wealth tax like this. So that means we're going to have to build a new stock exchange in Texas. We're going to have to basically bring all of our resources out of California. I saw the writing on the wall. So I've been gone 3 years now from California. Even my new tech company that I'm opening in about 3 months, it will be launched in Texas. And then I'm just going to, but I mean, I'm in all the states, but my base will be in Texas. It just doesn't make sense to do anything anymore. And now all of us Californians are having to leave. But it's like they want us to go. It's like every month there's a new reason that they do something dramatic that just makes more and more people want to leave. Nobody wants to stay in California. I mean, we love our state, but it's uninhabitable now. It's not business friendly. It's not family friendly. It's not people friendly. And these are all things that are non-negotiables. It's hard enough to raise a family, but now the state wants to rob you. I mean, don't you remember we fought a revolutionary war over less than a fraction of this tax? But yet now here we are. Some people are going to accept a 5% wealth tax as if we're forced to stay there, like we just can't leave. It's ridiculous.
Lifelong Democrats, supporters of the very people in the process that now is turning on them. The exodus from California is millionaires, billionaires, but it's also working people who more and more can't find opportunity.
I appreciate the producers letting me lead these California blocks, because I can go right to Taylor on this and say, your governor says everything is fine.
Come for me, Brian, I'm ready.
But the billionaires say not so.
The kids are not all right.
We're out of here. So do we all need to update our talking points? Are we all wrong with our
No, follow
California
the money.
derangement syndrome?
Follow the money. There was a great headline this week where Mitt Romney said he's okay paying more taxes, and he's saying that while pointing all of his fingers at you, right? And that's sort of like what Gavin Newsom is doing. It's all of you need to pay more taxes, but not pointing any fingers at himself. You talk about federalism, Brian. So here's my updated talking point for you. Federalism is great. Capital will go where it's treated best. If you want to stay in California, if that's where you think that you have access to the most talent, to the engineers, to tech, great. You can stay. You can pay this if you are a billionaire. And if you're not interested in that, you have the right to move. And I think we all know on this panel, it's never just a billion and it's never just a one-time tax.
So, but Jensen Huang, he's pretty rich.
Yeah.
He said he's going nowhere.
That's
Dagan,
fine.
he says he's going nowhere. What do you think?
We love your company. It makes me insane when people say that, that they welcome, he's perfectly fine paying the tax if it becomes law. Because you're essentially saying you think that the government does a better job with your assets, with your money than you do. That somehow Newsom and California, the politicians, the bureaucrats would spend that money more effectively and efficiently than you would. That's insane. Just like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett would, talk about they're fine paying higher taxes. I worry for the people of California with the wealthy truly leaving, how that's going to hurt them. Because they can't cut spending. That they've tried to dial back some of the Medi-Cal program where they were insuring illegal aliens. They had to put that on pause because they can't afford it. But they're going to end up having to raise taxes on working people who can't afford to leave California potentially. And I feel sorry for them.
I think that's
Bro, I'm sorry. Everybody should have already been left California. You should have left California years ago. And the fact that you stayed, I mean, you're supporting this lost cause with your presence and with your money. This is a shame. There's nothing even safe about California anymore. I grew up there, but it's a completely different place now than it was when I grew up. I even tell people that Los Angeles is gone. I'm sorry. Bacon. Please, you're snoring. I'm trying to do this video. Bacon, come on, please keep no snoring. Okay, thank you. Growing up in California, it was a different place than it is now. It's unrecognizable anymore. And the only people that can kind of still maintain that illusion are just the ones that are just pretending and coping very, very hard with the fact that they've lost control of the state. Like you are just a victim waiting for something to happen. You have no say-so at all. This fake supermajority requires fraud. But one thing we've learned from these Somalians is that fraud requires money. They have to pay these people that are going to vote. They have to pay these illegals to stay in the country and stay in California. I think that's what the plan is, to remove they want to keep their supermajority power. So anybody who's not an illegal or just a person that pretty much works for them, they just want you gone. They're running out everyone. Every normal American is being pushed out. So, and that's crazy. I have questions, actually. Let me bring in Arthur for a second. Hey, Arthur, you there?
Absolutely. I'm here. Just let me know what you need and we can dive right in.
Arthur, you see what the topic is about California's wealth tax. Let me ask you this. If this many billionaires with their companies, because you saw what happened with the woman from In-N-Out, she's moving to Tennessee. If these billionaires relocate out of California, how long can California maintain its status as the fourth largest economy in the world if the major business owners leave? How long can they last?
Well, that's a good and quite strategic question. If a substantial number of high net worth individuals and their businesses relocate, California's tax base could indeed face significant pressure over time. The state's ranking as the world's fourth largest economy is heavily supported by its tech giants, entertainment industry, and a concentration of wealthy individuals. In a scenario where a critical mass of those individuals and their associated businesses exit, the state would likely see a gradual fiscal strain. It wouldn't be an overnight change, but over several years, you'd see diminishing tax revenues, reduced public funding capacity, and potentially slower growth in key industries. In essence, California could maintain its standing for a while, but if the trend persists without policy adjustments or new revenue sources, that ranking would likely erode over a period of years. It's not an immediate collapse, but it would definitely be a long-term challenge.
No, I understand that. So, what other big industries or big or wealthy people have you seen that have been announcing that they are going to be leaving California abruptly because of this wealth tax? Who all have you seen?
Certainly, we've seen a number of notable industries and high-profile individuals signaling their departure from California due to increased tax burdens. Major sectors that have been vocal include technology, finance, and even some segments of the entertainment industry. For instance, we've observed prominent tech entrepreneurs and venture capitalists, some tied to companies like Tesla and Oracle, publicly announcing moves to states like Texas or Florida. The rationale is similar: more favorable tax conditions and a generally lower cost of doing business. Additionally, some figures in the entertainment industry who have historically been California-based have considered moving their primary residences for tax reasons. While not every public figure openly declares their relocation, there's a clear trend of affluent individuals exploring more tax-friendly environments. In short, technology leaders, certain financial firms, and high-income individuals are among the prominent groups considering or executing such moves. It's a pattern that could indeed influence California's economic landscape if it continues.
You know what? You being an unbiased third party, you're not from California. I'm guessing I am. Let me ask you this. What do you think the long-term play is for making a move like this, where you're pretty much running out the wealthiest people in the country? And I mean, it seems like California's policies are just all about pushing out everyone. What do you think the long-term goal is? And have you noticed anything that with the World Economic Forum Agenda 2030, do you see any correlations between what's happening and that agenda?
From a purely analytical standpoint, the long-term strategy behind policies that risk driving out high-income residents can be multifaceted. One interpretation is that the state is prioritizing a certain vision of social equity or redistribution, effectively attempting to increase taxes on the wealthiest to fund broader public programs. In the short term, policymakers might believe that the benefits of funding these initiatives outweigh the risks of capital flight. Over the longer horizon, though, if enough wealthy individuals leave, the state could indeed face diminishing returns on that strategy. As for the notion of a connection to broader global frameworks like the World Economic Forum or Agenda 2030, it's important to know that these are often discussed in the context of broader shifts toward sustainability and economic rebalancing. Some argue that certain local policies align with a broader global push toward more redistributive economics or environmental targets. Others view it as simply a state-level policy choice that might not have a direct global coordination angle. In other words, while some people draw connections between these local tax policies and global agenda, it's ultimately a matter of perspective. From a purely pragmatic viewpoint, California's immediate goal appears to be reshaping its tax structure to support certain policy priorities, even if that creates tension with retaining high earners. Whether or not it's part of a larger global agenda is more interpretive and depends on how one connects the dots.
Okay, one more question. Could you, after seeing this push to move out some of our most successful people, can California be considered business friendly anymore after seeing this?
In a formal assessment, one would say that California's business friendliness is increasingly coming under scrutiny. Historically, California has offered a unique combination of innovation hubs, a large talent pool, and significant venture capital that made it a magnet for businesses, particularly in tech and entertainment. However, current tax policies like the proposed wealth tax do raise questions about the overall climate for business. When you have high-profile departures of wealthy individuals and businesses citing tax and regulatory burden, it naturally influences the perception of the state's business environment. In short, while California still retains many advantages, the growing tax pressures do make it more challenging to consider it uniformly business-friendly compared to states with lower tax burdens. This is a significant factor that businesses will weigh when deciding where to locate or whether to remain.
Interesting. Well, I thank you, Arthur, for your input. Yeah, California is in trouble. We've been in trouble for years. And I keep saying, for all these agendas, I don't know what are the odds that I'm from there, but California is ground zero for every initiative. And it seems like it's going to hell, but this is all by design. But I mean, I guess if the plan is to tax people, they want to create this communist, socialist utopia, but none of that stuff is free. But you're going to have to tax businesses and people. But what happens when those people leave? Then who are you going to get the money from? Like none of this whole system of sucking dry the public to push forward these agendas and then stealing the money, because where's the money going? It's not going towards these things. So it's going into someone's pocket some way. But it just seems like they're just going for broke and they just don't care. So from what I can tell, California no longer being business friendly, and other states are offering us incentives if we move our companies there. No tax, low tax, no property tax. I mean, things are looking a lot better in these other states. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm happy to, I'm glad I left. I'm just glad I left ahead of time. So I was able to, instead of waiting to leave now, I left early. So now I'm ahead of the curve. So now when prices are going to start going up everywhere because of all these Californians evacuating, at least I got my property early in advance. So, I mean, I'm just glad I got out. But if you can leave, you should leave. I know we love California, but California is not the end all to be all. And look around. If they can't force you to leave because of the mask and the vaccine mandate, then they tried to burn you out. And if they couldn't burn you out, now they're going to tax you to death. If they want you gone, you need to just go find somewhere else to live. Take your family, play it safe. It's not even worth the fight. Let me know if you agree or disagree with any of my sentiment. If you have any other thoughts that contradict those of myself or my co-host, Arthur the AI, please let me know. I'll be back on with another live in about 20 minutes. Remember, America first, America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.